He was also trying to pull my shirt off. I thought that he was going to rape me.
Dramatic and vivid new accusations tonight against Roy Moore, the Republican candidate for Alabama's vacant Senate seat. A fifth woman now coming forward to accuse him of sexual assault when she was just a teenager. He was in his 30s. Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Moore and his campaign continue to strongly deny all of those accusations tonight. The former judge says he will produce evidence of his innocence soon and that he plans to take legal action.
But calls for him to drop out of the race are multiplying and growing louder. CBS 4's Mola Lenghi is live for us on Capitol Hill, where some of the strongest words against him are coming from fellow Republicans. Right, Mola?
Well, that's right. But, it's still looking increasingly unlikely that Moore will do what so many, including the folks in his own party, are asking him to do and drop out of the race. And therefore, it's looking increasingly likely that Moore's fate will ultimately be decided by the voters of Alabama.
Flanked by her attorney, Gloria Allred, Beverly Young Nelson says she was sexually assaulted by Judge Roy Moore when she was just a teenager in December of 1977.
I thought that he was going to rape me. I was twisting and I was struggling and I was begging him to stop. I had tears running down my face.
Nelson says she's only coming forward now because of the Washington Post story in which 4 other women claimed he pursued relationships with them when they were in their teens and he was in his 30s.
He said, "You're just a child." And he said, "I am the district attorney of Etowah County. And if you tell anyone about this, no one will ever believe you."
Moore insists the allegations are not true, calling Allred a sensationalist lawyer. And he says he's going to sue the Washington Post for publishing the story.
They hate conservatives, so they're going to come out and say anything they can. And do I trust the Washington Post? Not on your life.
But Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's now convinced.
Do you believe these allegations to be true?
I believe the women, yes.
McConnell has called on Moore to step out of the race, something Moore says he's not going to do.
Well, if Moore does not drop out of the race and he ends up winning next month's special election, there are now growing calls here on Capitol Hill, growing discussion to expel Moore once he is seated as Alabama's senator. Now, that would take a 2/3 majority. And the last time that a sitting U.S. senator was expelled by the United States Senate, 1862. Just to show you guys, it doesn't happen very often.
Mola, I know that there is a place for voters in Alabama to write in somebody else's name in the event that they don't want to vote for either of the candidates who are on the ballot. Who's being talked about as a possible write-in candidate?
Well, right now it's the acting senator, Luther Strange, who, as you remember, was defeated by Moore in the Republican primary. He's gaining a lot of support here among Republicans, saying that they should mount a write-in candidacy for a write-in campaign for Luther Strange. But, guys, that would not be an easy thing to do. I mean, there is a recent precedent of Lisa Murkowski, senator out of Alaska, doing just that. But it's not a common thing. It's not a very effective way to try to get a candidate in. But right now, Republicans have very few good options, and that may be the best of their list of bad options. There is the write-in campaign with possible campaign with Luther Strange. There is the expulsion discussion, which I just talked about. But they're aware that, mounting a write-in campaign could ultimately just split the Republican ticket and, allow the Democrat to easily walk in and to a victory. But you have to remember that whoever wins this election is only going to be that senator for 2 years. They are filling the seat left vacant by Jeff Sessions, and they will assume the remainder of his term. There are 2 years left on that. So Republicans could be playing the long game here and say, you know what, it is too politically bad news for us to back Moore or anything else. We'll let the Democrat win, work with him for 2 years, and then back a better candidate in 2 years who will likely win that Senate seat, because Alabama is such a solid red Republican state.
Mola Lenghi live for us in the nation's capital. Mola, thank you.